Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. As you guys can see up on the screen, today I want to talk about Muln Automotive Incorporated. This is ticker symbol MULN for those of you who are maybe not as familiar with this one. And today was obviously not a great day for Muln. The stock was down 7.89% on the day, down almost another full percent after hours. And it was just pretty much red the entire day. It started out a lot more red. We opened at $1 after closing Friday at $1.14. So that was looking really, really ugly. And if that would have carried on the rest of the day, this could have been an absolute disaster. But from where we opened to where we closed, we can take a look real quick. We were actually up, 6% intraday. So, hey, not so bad. It could have been a lot worse. Also, when we look at the broader market, Dow Jones was down 2.79%. S&P was almost down 4%. If you know anything about the S&P or the stock market, you know that is pretty crazy. That is a terrible, terrible, terrible day for the S&P. And then you have the NASDAQ, a very, very large fund in and of its own right, down 4.68%. Russell, that one's a little bit more volatile, a little bit more crazy, down 4.76%. But the NASDAQ being down over 4.5% and the S&P almost being down 4% is crazy. This was a terrible, terrible, terrible day. Yes, Muln did underperform all the major indices, but it was very red on a very red day. So Muln itself is not to blame for all of this, but there is still plenty of news and stories to talk about today. The biggest one of that being this. This is from the Muln subreddit. Muln announces annual meeting of stockholders to be held on July 26th. And these things can be good or bad. When you have things like this. Recently, I covered for SoFi on this channel how SoFi has an annual meeting of stockholders coming up, and one of the big things they're talking about is whether or not they want to do a reverse stock split. And obviously, a reverse stock split is usually not great news. It's usually a negative thing. Now, they're trying to spin it in a positive way, saying it'll have a positive impact. Maybe it can, maybe not. But these shareholder meetings, stockholder meetings, whatever, they're usually for a reason. Sometimes it might be a big announcement. Sometimes it might be some big news, or sometimes because it's because we have an interesting topic to vote on. Now, especially right now when the whole stock market is going down and down and down and down. 2022 has been a historically bad year for the markets. You can't imagine there's going to be too much good news at these meetings. Now, you want to put out good news into a good market to really reap the rewards. Right now, if you put out some good news, your stock still might go down like 5% on the day, and that kind of sucks. Obviously, if you have some good stuff to talk about, you're going to do that. But a lot of the times right now, this is to have some not so exciting news, and that's kind of what's going on today. Muln did put this out. Muln announces annual meeting of stockholders to be held on July 26th. This is from electricvehicles.com. The California-based EV maker Muln filed on Friday evening a form with the SEC inviting shareholders for its annual meeting to be held at the NASDAQ building in New York on July 26th. Among the themes to discuss in the meeting, the shareholders will vote to approve the increase of the aggregate number of authorized shares to 2.25 billion. To our stockholders, you are cordially invited to attend the annual meeting of stockholders of Muln Automotive. Blah, 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 blah. The annual meeting of stockholders is being held for the following purposes: to elect 3 Class 1 directors to serve for a 3-year term ending as of the annual meeting in 2025. To approve an amendment to the company's second amended and restated certificate of incorporation to increase the authorized number of shares of common stock to 1.75 billion, the authorized number of shares of preferred stock to 500 million, and in conjunction therewith to increase the aggregate number of authorized shares to 2.25 billion. To approve the company's 2022 equity incentive plan, to approve for purposes of complying with the NASDAQ listing rule of the issuance of shares of common stock to our CEO pursuant to a performance stock award agreement, and to approve for purpose of complying with NASDAQ of potential issuance of Series D preferred stock and warrants and shares stock upon conversion of the Series D preferred stock and warrants of any future adjustments of conversion price of the Series D preferred stock and an exercise price of the warrants. Just a ton of mumbo jumbo stuff going on here. And ultimately to transact such other business as may properly come before the meeting or any adjournments or postponements thereof. So at the end of the day, the big thing here that obviously we're going to be talking about is dilution, authorizing the number of shares to increase. increase. Now, I don't have the number of shares that are out for Muln right now. We might be able to find this on Qualtrim Insights. Let me check real quick what we can see here. Shares outstanding, last time this says 289 million. I can't believe that would be accurate. So I don't really know if there's a good way to see, the shares outstanding right now. Obviously, you can take the market cap, divide it out, do a little math and stuff right there. But obviously, at the end of the day, we're talking about raising the number of shares. We are talking about share dilution, which is not usually a good sign. And this obviously had a lot of people talking. This is on the Muln subreddit. Voting, hell no. People are saying it's not common shares. It is. People are also saying if you don't vote, it's an instant no. That's not true. We all need to participate and vote no unless you want to bail out shorts and see our short interest drop to 2%. Again, they're just talking about, what's going to be going on. But they do say the proxy vote definition here, shareholder voting. Brokers may vote on your behalf at their discretion if you don't vote by proxy or at the meeting in person. So again, they're saying that, hey, if you don't vote, brokers might just end up voting on your behalf. It's not going to be an instant no. It's not going to be, whatever they're saying here. You got to participate. If you are a Muln shareholder, if you're a Muln stockholder and you have thoughts and opinions about this, maybe you don't care if they dilute. Maybe you want them to dilute because then they'll have more cash on hand. Maybe you want the short interest to go down. Or maybe you don't want them to dilute. Maybe you want to keep your shareholder value. Maybe you want to keep the shares you have at the ratios you have and at the valuations you have and all that stuff. Then maybe you should get on and vote no. Again, there seems to be a lot of misinformation, a lot of confusion stuff out there, and this is at least what's going on there. No more share dilution. Let's all vote no. That's a top comment. This is a thread with a lot of upvotes. This guy says, vote no on dilution. Here is why. And then he just says nothing. I don't know. This doesn't really link to anything. But he says down here, the company has no legitimate reason to dilute at these levels unless they need the money to fulfill the van order. The price level is ridiculous to dilute. Company should wait until stock is higher and be able to raise more cash with less share issuance. That is a very, very fair point. Why are we talking about diluting when this stock is, zoom out 1 year. A year ago today, the stock was $11. The stock has a 52-week high of $15.90. What stock in their right mind, what organization, group, management, whatever, that thinks this stock is going up, that this believes in this stock long-term would be looking to dilute pretty close to 52-week lows? That's not how this works. You want to dilute, and most companies end up diluting as their stock price soars and goes higher and higher and higher. That's when they look to get a bunch of money for, again, not as much, overall devaluation or whatever, or dilution or whatever term you want to use. If they're, even considering issuing shares at this price, that kind of seems like a giant red flag to me in terms of being a potential long-term investor or a long-term investor or whatever of this company. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind there. This is what we had already pulled up. And then the other side of the coin, obviously an interesting debate is, hey, if not through shares issuance, where else can Muln seek funding? As questioned, where else can they look for funding? I would love to have partners who invest like Amazon, Ford, Hyundai, so we don't have to dilute our shares. But if not, we don't have, where else can Muln get funding? Eventually, the company needs massive fund for mass production that will come in 2023 and 2024. And we can take a look at some of the comments. Obviously, this guy just says trash can. I think people have issues with the timing, massive amount, and the fact that he didn't wait till the stock price was much higher. If the Fortune 500 and Russell are due out in a couple of weeks, one would expect some additional enthusiasm and a healthy bounce. Again, if there are these positive news stories, positive catalysts, all this great stuff coming in the near future, even in the next 6, 12, 18, 24 months, whatever, why would share dilution be a topic of conversation or a topic of debate, even if they don't end up doing it? The fact that they are considering it, again, just kind of from my outside perspective, outside point of view. Obviously, I'm not trying to give financial advice, nothing like that. I'm not telling you guys to buy, sell, anything. I'm just saying this would definitely make me a little wary. And I would just want some answers. What the heck's going on? Why are we doing this? It definitely seems like a weird idea. Dilution always is pretty bad, but dilution at close to 52-week lows seems like a disaster waiting to happen, and also makes me question what they think is going to happen over the next coming months. I don't know. Doesn't seem good. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate that so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about MULN. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe, stay up to date on all my latest content. Hope to catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.